Good,
Wow.
good morning, everybody. It's Bracken and Matt, two of your favorite people in the whole wide world, to bring you exciting, amazing Savage coverage this morning from Pennsylvania. Bracken, Crocker, how are you, my friend?
I'm equal parts just enthralled and disappointed right now, Matt. I've never been part of an official countdown. And by the time we got to like 8, I was hooked on what I was going to see next. And I was disappointed that I thought
Just
you
us.
maybe had a video package or something spectacular.
Yes, I have a video package.
And then it was me.
I have a video package I made going
Yeah.
back to 2011 Savages.
Oh, that would be a highlight package. Anyways, that counting us in, that was spectacular.
I think we've next leveled it.
We may have peaked.
Joshua Gonzalez, welcome. See you soon. I love when people do that. I love when people are watching and they're like, hey, I'm on my way. I'm hitting that course soon. You, the viewer, you're going to have your eyes on this course very soon. The Savage gentlemen are doing what they always do, getting set up, making sure everything is right for all the racers. I think there's one name on everybody's lips this morning. Who do you think that is? Who's coming back?
Like most mornings, people wake up and think about Aaron Newell.
Yeah, that is right.
What is he? The OCR potster / Grinch / I don't know, Enigma fire starter. He's back.
He's one part Hunter McIntyre, one part. I think mischief. I think is a good word. Who's a good mischief person?
Aaron Newell. You can't. He doesn't fit any boxes, Matt. He's coming off compartment syndrome surgery, which is a relatively destructive process. If it doesn't go, it just doesn't always take. Some people are never the same after this. A university up near where I'm from, where my brother went to school and where I went for one term of college, is famous for having a ton of people go through compartment syndrome surgery. And some people are just never seen again. They're never back to themselves. And today we get to find out where he is in that process, towards being back or being gone forever.
Would you like to describe which body part that's even connected to?
Yeah, it's a lower leg issue, primarily calves. It's where essentially the fibrous tissue that encapsulates your muscle strands is like a fishing net straining against way too many fish. It's just too tight and your muscles swell inside of it and it's just cutting it off. This is a terrible medical explanation, but that's what I'm going for. And it's extremely painful and it's extremely restricting, which leads to a lot of issues. And they have to go in there and kind of snip the net a little bit and let the muscle be able to expand correctly.
But I've seen a lot of Aaron Newell on my feed. I've seen a lot of bike riding. So he hasn't been immobile.
He was immobile for a while and then non-impact for a while. And obviously the main bulk of his training is still coming from the bike, but he started running again and we have no idea where he is, but the fact that he's here is great news for the sport.
Well, Steve Best says that you nailed it. He's a doctor.
Ooh, thank you, Dr. Best. That's a good name.
That's what we call him. We call him Dr. Best.
Yeah, and honestly, even if that wasn't his real name, I support that name change. Dr. Best. If you were scrolling through some online provider list, you would choose Dr. Best.
Right. Like if by the time you got to if you got to the ends and you got to Dr. Not So Great, you'd go, wait, where's the best doctor?
Yeah, Dr. Mediocre is not going to cut it.
So we also have one of our favorites from the Savage scene, and that is Jared Flank, a.k.a. Red Shorts, who was down here in the South for a while. He's now moved up there, so he's doing a race in PA. And also a couple of the Noob Sanity crew who are always poking around.
Jarrett Newby will be there. He's kind of becoming, I believe, an early poor man's Yuri Force or Brian Gowiski, where only the people in their area know how much of an animal he is.
Right.
And I think that maybe today is his podium day.
Wow.
Maybe. I'm not guaranteeing a podium.
Right.
But he has as good a chance as anyone outside of, well, I guess anyone's today.
How about the women?
Well, we have Meg Julian. She's no stranger to this. I would say that coming in, her, probably Sarah Paladin, a few people like that are the most seasoned vets of Savage Race. And Savage definitely has a skill component. that it's difficult unless you're an all-world talent like maybe Nicole Miracle to show up and just crush it on your first attempt. And so that obviously that history is going to help. But then you have Kayla Colby showing up. I don't know if she's done a Savage. If she has, it's very few. And I think she's an up-and-comer in the sport, so that'll be fun to watch her.
Well, Aaron, to my knowledge, hasn't done a Savage.
No.
So we assume, if we're predicting things, he'll probably get out to a lead, but may have to do an obstacle twice.
And I would actually say the opposite. I would say he probably, if I were predicting, he won't get out to a lead because his running just can't possibly be back to full capacity right now. But he's up there with Ryan Atkins for best grip, strength, endurance, and obstacle ability. He probably has better obstacle ability than Ryan. Ryan probably might have better crushing grip strength, but Aaron does some of the freakiest obstacle transitions and moves that I've ever seen in the sport. He is the highest level rock climber in our sport currently. And so of anything that'll be there, I assume his grip will be. Right.
And he can take chances and try again, which is the beauty of obstacle completion versus burpee town.
And his mentality, the kind of, I don't care, you don't care, I care that you don't, that whole just, I'm a free spirit kind of thing works well for a race like this, because he can go out and just wing something, fall off, and just laugh it off and try again. Where some people that compounds and they start rolling downhill in a negative way, I don't see that affecting him.
Did you say Nicole Miracle?
I did.
We're having a debate.
A lot of people say Miracle.
I say Miracle.
You split the difference?
Exactly. See, this was a point of contention between myself and Nicole, and Jack Bauer.
What is her take? Because I really want to be saying it correctly.
She says Miracle. It's not quite Miracle, but it's very close.
I would say Miracle as well if my last name was Miracle.
Right. See, right. So you say Mare, which is what Bauer had said it, but he laid even heavier on the Mare. We're getting sideways here, guys. But that's what happens when you're on with me. But that's what we have you, Bracken. You're here to pull me back in if I get Scott agrees with me. That's all that matters.
I'm the straight man in this broadcast.
Well,
is that what we're doing?
Oh, hang on. Getting a very important text. Nope. Thought it was a very important text from the race guys. Any moment, I'm sure they're busy getting the course ready, but we are 6 minutes away from the start here. So we Nick Riker's giving us Olympic updates. Nick, we've got Peacock. We don't
tell him no spoilers.
Stop spoiling. And
go watch the women's marathon.
Right.
Don't spoil it. That was fantastic. Matt, did you catch that?
I did not, but what I do is I see, like, on my YouTube, it says, watch this amazing thing, and then I watch it. So, for example, yesterday or last night, I watched Modern Pentathlon. Are you familiar with this thing?
Mm-hmm. That's the Ian, what's his name? From Spartan when they were trying to get into the Olympics. I shouldn't say that word on this, but Ian Adamson was part of Modern Pentathlon for the U.S. delegation.
Okay, so we're back. We've got Lee. Good morning, Lee.
Good morning.
So I can see some red shorts all the way back here. The one on the right is Jared.
Our right, not stage right.
Correct. Looks like, who else we got here jumping around?
I see a newbie.
I do not see an Aaron. Did he oversleep? Is Aaron in the start line?
See Carl Fallish here, the Running Public's own Carl Fallish.
Discord's Carl Fallish.
He texted me this morning. He said, I have the brightest shorts here. He wasn't lying.
Where is Aaron?
He'll be here last minute.
Okay. I mean, no, that's like a Hobie move. That's like a Ryan Atkins move. I don't know if Aaron had earned that yet.
That's anyone who has the confidence to stroll up late. Is that a Kevin LaPlatney in the mud gear cut off with
must
eye
be
black on his face?
We got a Mudman sighting.
What does that date back to? 2010?
Kevin LaPlatney, one of the first blogs out there back when I started.
One of the first to do it.
He recently came in third place with my friend Keith Allen at Toughest PA.
Keith Allen. There's a blast from the past.
Matt, can you hear me?
I can, my friend.
Hey, just a heads up, there's some large sections of the course that are woods running that we won't really be able to follow. So we may have some periods where we're kind of transitioning.
Okay. Bracken and I will find amazing things to talk about.
Awesome. I see an air newel. I think I just saw a white top. Bit of a mullet action happening on the right side of our screen.
Morning. Yeah, I just finished.
You just finished what, a triathlon?
The mileage was a little bit wonky, so I had to go set it again.
There he is. He is indeed present.
Lee, what's the mileage this morning, buddy? Did Lee just become a drone? Lee, what's the mileage this morning?
So it came in a little bit long at 6.6.
Okay, so did you make it shorter or longer?
Well, typically I shoot for around 6.2, 10K.
Okay.
I thought we'd be seeing a Sean Roberts this morning. After his disappointment in Nashville, I thought he might show up.
You clearly didn't listen to my podcast with Sean Roberts. That was the must-listen-to podcast of the week.
I know. After him telling me he wouldn't do a podcast, but if he did, he'd come on over. He spurned me for you, Matt. So enjoy that one. That's a big coup.
Well, I mean, I've been talking to him since his very first Savage.
Me too.
And he told me the same thing.
Yeah. Also, I thought we'd see Logan Broadbent. I thought he'd make the drive over. Although I suppose those guys have done a lot of racing lately. Aaron Newell taking the instructions very, very seriously.
Teresa Lee. Hey, in a seat behind my driver's seat.
Nick just asked where your episode is. Are you behind? You guys always publish on time.
Yeah, we had an episode that was supposed to launch yesterday, but had some audio trouble. So I was up again polishing this morning. It'll be out after this live stream airs. Sorry, okay. Nick.
Yeah, people get antsy.
They do.
I must have had the wrong cord.
We're a two-man show. You know how it is when you handle your production of your own show. It's things pop up that a professional would probably handle pretty easily.
Lee, are we going to be getting a women's cam on? Because 5 minutes later, they're going to go. Lee, you're muted. Are we going to get a women's cam up?
Yes, we're working on the women's cam now. So.
Okay.
Got some hands-on watches. You got that lean coming. Woo, we're off.
Little pro tip, when you finish a race, put your arms up and celebrate, then stop the watch. You want to make sure you get a nice finish photo. You don't want to get this finish photo where you're looking down and timing your watch.
No, you don't want that.
But people do it all the time.
Aaron Newell to settle in, be in like maybe fourth or fifth, and yet he appears to be right near the front here.
Well, he hasn't raced in a while.
That's why I thought he'd settle in. But maybe they're just not getting out hard at all.
Hi, Caleb. Give a shout out to those women when you can. I'm going to go back to the men.
It appears as if they're hardly even moving, Matt.
Yeah, they're going under A-frame. There goes Jared. Let's go to the women's start here.
Stop action race is the first I've seen in a while.
Here we go. There's Meg. There's Emily in the tiger print. Emily from our Jacksonville broadcast team. She's awesome.
We've been saying this a lot lately, Matt, but this is as wide open as the podium gets.
Yep, for sure.
Why do you believe that some of these fields the last few weeks have been a little less deep at the top.
Because everybody raced their butt off for the first few months because they were so excited to race again, and now it's finally like I gotta start picking and choosing which races I want to go to. I mean, would that be fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I've just never known an OCR athlete to turn down a shot at a payday.
I concur, but you know how it goes, buddy. Travel, obligations.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if I was 25, right, and single, if I was Nick Riker, if I was a healthy Nick Riker, I'd be hitting every single one of these.
Yeah. And I think we all did that for a while. And you do realize that that's not the best way to do well at any one race, is to do all races. So maybe they're learning, and maybe people are a little burnt out from the beginning of the year, but it always opens the door for some new blood.
Well, something I want to talk to Savage about. Wouldn't it be great if Savage also had a point season?
Yeah, it would be.
I'm thinking they do, I think, 12 to 14 races a year. So show up to any 4 and your best 4.
And you know what? Because the series are so big now and extensive, I think it would also be a cool wrinkle to throw in that point series total of whatever your best 4 is qualifies you for an extra money heat at the end of the year, where you have the top 10 of any best 4. Because really, you could have 4 without ever seeing one of the other top people. You could have 4 people that win, or 3 people that win 4 races, never race each other, and they could combine into one big throwdown at the end of the year.
All right, so who's out here early, Bracken?
I believe this is Kayla Colby on the right in the bluish shorts. I believe. I haven't actually watched her race too often in person.
Leo let us know, or Caleb will let us know when he has a moment.
Yes.
Caleb let us know who that is. And there's Meg. And there's our buddy Emily Angel hanging out there in 5th.
Now, we've seen this over and over, right, Matt, where you have an athlete or two who either is the class of the field or decide that it's their day to go lead, and they get out, and then we have a mass of the peloton that follows. And in the women's race, almost unfailingly, towards the end of the race, there is a roadblock at an obstacle of people who are not getting through it without failing it over and over. And we've talked that at some point it might even be smart for a few of the women to slow play their race so that they can hit that stretch hard and shoot right up onto the podium. I wonder if we'll see any of that today.
That would take some smart racing.
It would take you not being the favorites, I think. It's easy for the favorites to say, I'm just going to run fast because all I have to do is make it through the obstacles and I do what I'm supposed to do. But someone who thinks, you know what, I'm on the verge of a podium, but I'm not totally sure about it, they can play that tactical game.
See if we can get a shot of the men here. Are they coming out any moment, Lee?
It's going to be about 1.2 miles before they come out here. It's a pretty long trek.
Okay. What else do you want to tell us about this course then while you're here hanging out at Squeeze Play?
Well, there is an insane amount of rhododendron trees, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with how they grow, but they're very wiry. And I was able to make some very unique and interesting trails that kind of dig in and around those. The trail, aside from that, the course itself is very technical. There's a lot of ups and downs out there and a lot of water lines that we cross repeatedly. The wildlife around here is absolutely insane. A lot of times we actually, because the course hits so many areas, we spook the deer into just running in circles until they end up in festival.
That doesn't sound great, but okay.
Well,
wow, we rarely get deer and rhododendrons in the same race report from a course director.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. So it's a little bit dense in one or two areas. When they kind of go out on the long trail loop, come back, do a few, and then head back out. So it's intermittent.
We see Sarah Paladin going over the wall here. I'm fairly certain she spent like 8 weeks in a boot with a stress fracture recently. So A, I'm hoping I'm correct on that info. B, I'm curious to see her out here already, and C, wondering what her fitness and health is like.
Lee, I looked at the map and saw a very spicy ending. Can you talk about the last few obstacles?
Yes. So, we have a few really grip-intensive obstacles in a row. In particular, we've been having a lot of people have difficulty with Ain't My Chain, more specifically females. But previously, it's been after the rig. So in this case, instead of leaving the rig worn out and having trouble with the Ain't My Chain, they'll be hitting it more fresh, but that will leave them worn out for the rig. So we'll see how that plays out. And then, of course, right after Colossus, there's a Sawtooth. Now, we toned it down a little bit to go over land, but that being said, your hands will be soaking wet. Your body will be soaking wet and heavy, so it won't be as easy as it may originally seem. I think there's a lot of potential for things to change in the final, mile.
Yeah, so that's what jumped out to me. I've never seen Sawtooth at the end before.
It's this setup we have here, we were able to do it without the pit for this particular location. So I was able to put it kind of wherever we want. Whereas when we have a pit underneath, it's chained to where we're able to dig pits.
But is this a normal? Is this a normal PA? You guys are always at the same places, though, right?
Yes, sir.
So
yeah, we're always. Go ahead, Matt.
So you've been to this location before. You just decided to move it.
Yeah. So previously it was the wooden Sawtooth, and it was over a pit. But the older structure had kind of lived its full life and had to be taken down. So when we moved to the metal structure, we opened up the ability to kind of put it wherever we need it, and I used that to kind of add some spice to the course, like you had mentioned.
No, I've not raced this specific course. What is the terrain like? What's our elevation like? How the hills are going to impact this? How technical the course is?
So the elevation change is minimal, but the technical difficulty level is extreme. Basically, the entire time you're running, you have to be staring at your feet, or else you're going to catch an ankle on a root or a rock. There's also the wiry trees and stuff everywhere. So not only are you being careful with your steps, but you're also, ducking a lot and weaving and bobbing. So I'd say this is by far the most technical venue and terrain that we have. That's one of the reasons why the extensive trail sections are so they can be exhausting. It might seem a little dull if you're just looking at it on a map, but when you're out there, there's a lot of things to enjoy and a lot of different terrain to really challenge you.
Dustin suggests a Colossus Sawtooth mashup.
Combo obstacles are always fantastic. Matt, hearing that course intel, I think that Aaron Newell is favored by that. If your fitness isn't super high, the last thing you want to do is run with an unbroken stride for 6.6 miles. Anything that gives you a break from your standard exertion is really, really welcome. And since he's a good technical runner to begin with, that skill, that's going to still be in his legs, even if his engine is not really up to it. So I anticipate that he will handle that as well as anyone will, and that definitely helps his chances today.
Well, honestly, I'm just hoping they're all safe out there, because I know they're going to be pushing hard, and I don't want them to catch an ankle or anything like that. So if you're uncomfortable with your technical skill level, bring it up if you're going to come out here to Pennsylvania.
Yeah, you guys kicked Leon right out of our country.
I know. Crazy savage races, man.
Matt, Carl Fallish is dealing with an ankle roll. He rolled it pretty badly about 3 weeks ago, and then raced Asheville last week, but wasn't able to really turn loose because he felt that the terrain was a little bit not safe for it. So maybe he's going to be in for a day where he has to either throw caution to the wind or just like he did last time, hold back and be a little disappointed with his exertion level.
Well,
look at that. Running through this, that's nasty.
Oh yeah. And this is the type of area where you're not sure what exactly is underneath. You have to be a little bit careful where you step, and it's hard to get a full stride.
And that's a skill. It's a mindset and it's a skill. There are a lot of people who just cannot access their fitness on terrain like this, and other people who seem to be able to run as if it's not even there. And it really, really highlights the technical running aspect when you can't see your feet. Some people can technical run as long as you can see your feet, but when you can't, there's a different level of proprioception that's needed.
Looking good.
Oh, we got some people coming out of the woods. That is not Aaron
Yeah.
Newell. Your signal got worse the further into the woods you went, Lee.
That looked like a Noob
All right, I'll-
Sanity singlet, Matt. I couldn't tell
That
who it
wasn't
was, if that
Noob
was
Sanity?
Jarrett.
Yeah, that was Insanity. I'm backing out now.
Was that Jarrett Newby or was that someone else?
Oh. Nice.
All right, who's that?
Come on, guy. Yeah.
That's Jared.
It's hard to tell who we've missed, but potentially Jarrett in third.
Yeah, I'm going with that was Jared.
Hey, hey, it's that guy. What's up, man?
So there's Aaron, fourth or fifth.
Fifth at best, yeah.
Looks like nobody behind him.
So that lead pack is separated. Are you surprised to see Aaron in fifth?
Yes, it's less than mile one though, so people go out hard all the time.
He looked the most relaxed out of everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when there's blood in the water, one of the big dogs shows up but is in a compromised position. People get all chomping at the bit and excited to go try to, like, this is my moment. I'm going to beat Aaron Newell for the first time. And there's a good chance they get out too hot. And Aaron absolutely is not going to get out too hot today because he knows this is his first time back. And he's going to make sure that no matter what happens, he doesn't blow it in the first mile. He may never move up from here, but it wouldn't shock me at all if he's up 2 or 3 spots over the next 2 miles.
Can I use an example from my own recent trail history?
Of course.
Well, I had a little. Oh, hang on. What's going on? I did the 13-mile trail in Asheville. I raced my friend Gary, and Gary dropped the hammer early. And I followed him foolishly for the first mile down this hill, and then lost, a couple minutes to him.
Oh, wow. Doing a carry in and amongst the cargo containers. I
love it. I love it. So who is this in the lead?
Looks good. Looks strong. Running well with that log. Now, these are not super heavy logs, but still, he's stable under it. Some people still use a different technique running with it, whereas he just looks like he's running and happens to have something on his shoulder.
Oh, they go up the stairs?
So that was Brian Brizzolara.
Well, okay.
He has a pretty healthy lead here. Jared Flanks moved up in a second, it looks like.
What's the last name?
Brizzolara.
Briz? I don't see a Brizzolara.
I think with a G, Matt.
Saying Grizzolara. Nope, I don't have that either.
There's no way of knowing.
Well, it's on the back of his jersey. I'll get another look at him.
That could be the name of his something else. What letter did it start with, Lee? B as in boy? What were you saying?
I think it was B, but I'm about to check.
Okay.
I was incorrect, Matt.
Just yell, what's your last name? Hey, River. Where's the what?
Looking good. He must have already scooted past me. He was moving.
Jared looked the best out of that next threesome on that carry.
So Jared, what do we got? 1, 2, 3 here. Jared.
Second
Another
one is
Noob Sanity.
Yeah, it says Invictus on the back of his shirt.
The Noob Sanity guys came out of that first technical section 1-2 and now they went into this next 1-1-3. I wonder if that'll switch back up to 1-2 if they're just the better technical trail runners. Okay, I like seeing that, Matt, right there.
What's that?
He jumped off that obstacle from probably the third rung. That's the kind of thing that you never think twice about doing until you've had surgery on your leg. And it's the kind of thing that you can't possibly do afterwards until your body and your mind have accepted the fact that you're healthy. So that's really, I mean, I went through 2 knee surgeries last year. And that moment where you start doing things and trusting it again is a really, really big moment. And this is his first time, I assume, in a competition state doing a dismount like that. So that's bit by bit, his confidence in his body is going to build. So I'm happy for him seeing that.
So Robert Thor Stockstad II says it's Ryan, great, another Ryan, Brizzalara. Now, he is not in my starter list, so a late ad, perhaps? We have not got a shot of the lead women yet. Let's see what Caleb's got. Is that the lead women, Caleb?
Not yet. Still waiting.
Okay, I'm going to mute you, buddy.
Guys are filing through.
You know what?
No worries.
All right. Robert Thor Stockstad, what can you tell us about Brizzalara?
This little carry section, Matt, is one of those, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. When you're free out in space ahead of the pack, you can move freely. But those tight turns going through the shipping containers, there's obviously no place to pass. And then going up and down stairs, the pack is going to stay the pack. People might catch up to the pack, but you're not really going to make big moves on a tight carry like this. And that lead pack's going to get away further from the chase pack on something like this.
Ryan Brizzalara ran cross country at Roberts Wesleyan.
Robert Wesleyan.
Do you know that school?
Yeah, that's I think D3.
That's something you know very well.
The D3 world. Usually when you see Wesleyan, that's a Division III school. All right, so he ran at a collegiate level. That's always a good benefit, a good skill to bring to OCR. Running seems to be particularly important to this sport.
He's a Noob Sanity guy. He won the Mud Gauntlet, and he was on the Obstacle Running Adventures podcast back in May. There we go. Ryan Brizzalara.
So we don't know much, but we know 2 important things. He can run, and because he's at Noob Sanity, he's strong and can do obstacles.
Those are 2 good things.
Those are 2 good skill sets to bring to the table. Has he done a Savage before? Do we have intel on that?
I'm going to check his Athlinks, which isn't always right. Before we had live coverage like this, we would we'd see a name and just start typing like crazy and be like, does anybody know this guy?
Mm-hmm. A lot of Athlinks and Ultra Run searches.
Looks like Greek Peak Spartan Winter. He won his age group. That was a year ago, or 2020. And then there's a bunch of 5Ks on here. Yeah, a lot of 5Ks. So relatively new to OCR, but clearly switched over and is hanging with the noobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
First female right here. Right.
Matt, it's interesting to watch.
Hang on. First female where?
Coming through right here.
She's
in that pack of 2.
Green Ray, and then that the woman you're talking about with the blue shorts.
Kayla Colby, I believe.
Is this a paintball place?
Yes, sir.
Man, we were talking before about how carries, this isn't a super heavy carry by the standards of some other OCR carries, but it's long and a little unwieldy, and it allows you to run a lot faster. But look at just the technique difference you see between the top pack of people who you would consider runners versus the next pack of people who will oftentimes would be considered strength athletes. And you see that more hunched over, leaning to the side, not necessarily running with it. And it just clearly doesn't look the same.
Well, can you talk a little bit about time under tension and the advantage to moving quicker?
Hop in there.
Well, obviously, the longer you spend with the carry, the worse, both from a time standpoint and an exertion. But this is one of those pieces that people don't necessarily always want to hear. But when you have the heavier, stronger, more muscular athletes moving slower with a carry than the faster athletes, you realize that, running is still, it trumps strength once the runners have enough functional strength just to bear the load. Because this is not a very heavy carry proportionately, and yet you see a lot of strong athletes out there hunched over and not able to run with it.
How would you suggest they improve that? What would you prescribe them to train?
We just saw a fast pass. I think Kayla moving around. She got to one little open extended space before the staircase and put a quick surge in to get ahead. That was a smart move. You just got to spend time doing it. Honestly, if you're bad at carries are something that you just have to spend time doing it. But hip and core strength never hurts on something like this. But really, engine wins out. For many years, some of the strongest carriers in the whole sport were just the people thought of as kind of the weaker runners. Look at this gap now. Just in the last 100 meters, she put on 20 meters.
Oh, look at this shot. Look at this. Right in the action, Lee. I'm loving it. I'm loving it, Lee.
Yeah.
The human drone.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you.
Don't look like she lost that gap she had.
Yeah, she's as far as I can tell, she hasn't done many savages, if any, and a little bit of obstacle familiarity is going to cost her.
So that's third place female.
And she's moved nicely through this section. She's not too far behind. She's still way more intact than she needs to be in terms of being within an obstacle gap. If they fall off one, she'll be right back up there. And she's starting to put some space between her and the chase pack.
There's Meg
coming through. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Lee, maybe you can send Caleb up to the lead men.
Yeah, I'm actually about to switch over now. I'll send him over. You're right. Good call.
Rather than having us wait all the way here for, maybe you guys can flip-flop with this kind of location rather than men, women. Third place is Michelle Casol. Thank you, Taylor. She just came off U.S. Nationals last weekend. What's U.S. Nationals?
The National Series race, I assume, unless she's part of a different sport.
Well, for a second, I was thinking Olympics.
If so, hopefully it's a running-based event.
Let's see how she did. I'm gonna go to the Asheville Spartan.
More noob sanity coming through. Look like Glenn.
Don't you love how easy it is to find races on Athlinks from Spartan? You have to type in the exact phrase.
Hey, Caleb's on the males.
All right, let's have a look. He's not up yet. I do not have his camera up yet.
Well, I can see from here it's the Brizola guy. I saw him come over first. Brian Brizola.
So Kayla Colby definitely has done a Savage before. I think she did Maryland.
Kayla also just did Asheville. She was
Yeah, she
20.
did.
She was 23rd. I do not see Casold in here. She must have done AG.
You know, I drafted Kayla on my fantasy draft with Jack and Rich for Asheville. I think in Maryland she got stuck on a rig at Savage. So that'll be the narrative there, right, Matt? She's done it before. She's been stuck for 20 minutes on a rig in Maryland at Savage, and now she's up in the lead, and she's approaching the rigs. She has most, if not all, of the grip-intensive obstacles ahead of her.
So she was 20th in Asheville in Elite. You had her in her draft?
I did, yes. Yeah, I think she's someone to watch in the sport. I think that she's an up-and-comer. And Savage has a way of not caring what your hype is. Not caring one bit. The rig is dispassionate.
This one's got a 6-foot lâché too, so they'll probably enjoy that.
A 6-foot lâché, huh?
Oh yeah.
What is it preceded by and followed by on that setup?
So it's a first accessory is a nunchuck, followed by an upslope blue cheese board, and then a half cargo that hangs straight down, followed by a stripper pole in the form of a 2x4 board, and then directly to the 6-foot lâché with the bell above it.
Okay. That's a tough rig. Starting with the nunchuck means that people who like to swing hard and get a good momentum and start up really high on the rig, it negates that if you don't have exceptional grip strength. And then that lâché is not ideal for most people, especially if you don't have a lot of length and if you're not a really good lâcheer. And if there's one thing that all the women in this field share is that they are much, much shorter.
So quick look at Athlinks here. These two just battled it out. Michelle, 121.19 in Asheville. Kayla, a couple minutes behind her here.
It's exciting. Back-to-back weekends. They know each other. Spent some time on course together, assuming that they saw each other on course, and now they get to do it again.
Caleb, what are we looking at here, buddy?
You had about 8 men go through. Aaron's moved up. Looks like he's in 3rd place right now.
All right, can you turn your phone?
We're working on it. Gibble's freaking out a little bit. Here we go.
All right.
That lâché is going to be a big game changer, Matt. We've seen on the Savage rigs that as soon as wingspan becomes a part of the equation, people start to struggle, and that the women's field does the same gap as the men's field does. There's not a shorter one, and they just almost always have less wingspan than their male counterparts. And so something that is moderately challenging becomes exceptionally challenging.
All right, Caleb, can you get ahead of the men's to the next, rather than looking at the back of the pack here?
Yeah, I lost my rover at the moment, so I'm waiting for her to pop back in. As soon as she does, yeah, I can jump up there.
Okay, Lee, you're at Sawtooth, but that's the end, isn't it?
Yeah, I wanted to give you a quick peek at this rig over here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think definitely rather than men versus women, you guys should just leapfrog, considering we're losing. There's the gaps.
So a pipe will get you started to the nunchuck, and that'll get you to the cheese.
Uphill cheese today.
Cargo. Yeah, this cargo will exhaust you.
Well, cheese to cargo is a messy transition. Oftentimes we see people get to swing out to their cargo at races, whether it's from a pole, a rope, something like that, or rings. But the cheese board does not make for smooth anything.
I just see carnage. That's all I can see right now.
It's a very doable rig. It's very simple, but each simple piece is pretty nasty.
Yeah, each part will
And
wear
that
you out a little
lachey,
bit.
by the time you get to the lachey, that lachey itself, where you have to swing from one bar and release because the gap's too big for most people,
Lee,
and fly through the air and grab onto the next one. That may not be a terribly difficult lachey for a lot of people, but you reach it when you're with your grip at its most trashed at the end of that rig and at the end of the race, and that changes it.
now, Lee, you've had some pretty great rigs this season. You never want to do it twice. You never want to be like, all right, let's see if they improved.
Never.
What about throwing it at OCRWC? Are you guys still working with them?
I mean, yeah, we have to. That's
Now
like
that they're-
that's the sport, man. We got to
well, they're
include
back.
everybody.
They're back in America this year. So will we see this? Will we see something like this in Vermont in next month?
That's my goal. We'll see though. I can't say for certain at this point, but I would like that.
All right, we'll see if we can get Adrian on the horn.
All right, hey, we're gonna go catch up with the males. They should be coming up on the back scratcher real world area now.
All right, where should Caleb go?
Dude, this gimbal keeps fucking up.
Just use your hand. That's what she said. But just seriously, Caleb, where can we send Caleb? We're looking at a lot of not stuff.
Sean, Brian. Hey, do you have any, like,
Great job.
Let's check out Caleb here since he's here. Get a good shot of the parking lot. Yeah, Caleb, see if you can get yourself to Elite Obstacle or work with Lee on seeing if we can get you somewhere. River, what's up, buddy?
I just wanted to see.
Do you want to say hi to people on the camera? Got River Davis making an appearance here.
Who made that?
Jackson did. Do you want to come over and be on camera for a minute?
Hello.
River Davis, everybody. Scott, what are you laughing at, buddy? What are you LOLing? I can't keep up with all the comments. All right, we got some men. Here we go.
They should be coming up any moment now.
Oh, no, I thought I had him on Caleb's view there, but I'll keep him on you.
All right, bye, Dad.
See you, buddy.
Love you.
Love you, buddy. That's River, the future of this company. Oh, Scott the Fane. Thanks, buddy. You know what time it is.
So I know I said there's a lot of technical stuff going on, but there is one section with road, and we do have a few sections with some decent trails, so it's not all ankle carnage. So
No, that's
sure
fine.
on this section, they'll definitely be able to open up. I mean, it's a road.
All right. So Caleb is still sitting at this wall here, and I'm not sure exactly why. Love you, Caleb, but can we get to some leader action, men or women? Where do you suggest he goes, Caleb? I mean, Lee, where do you think he should go?
I'm gonna actually call him now.
Okay.
Matt, this is dense. Everywhere you look, this foliage is dense.
Okay, the runner coming your way, Lee? He's pointing.
Yep, that's him.
All right, let's see if we can call off who's in the lead. Let's see if we can give a race update here. 36 minutes in. 10-4, thank you.
Did we start right at 8?
I'm going to go with yes.
Okay.
And
I mean, even if we started late, a full half hour in, the race has shown itself by this point. You're not leading anymore unless you actually have it in you.
And here we go with the new Ryan. Brizolara still looking strong.
Yeah, he's running strong.
Back. Yeah, way strong. Look at that.
And even just seeing that little glimpse of how he transitioned off the road to the grass, those little transitions are where you take rest subconsciously or unconsciously if you're not feeling good. The fact that he didn't really even break stride when he came down off the road just means that he's in it. Look at the way he's aggressively crawling. He's still not in a place where he's fading.
All right, well, let's go back. Well, I guess let's see him do wheel, and then we'll go back and see who else is behind him, because I'd love to get a count here on how big his lead is.
Okay, I'll stop here and wait.
Yeah, please do.
Little hang up, but he's strong. The way he went over that 5-foot wall before, he planted on it without a lot of momentum, and then just picked his feet straight up over the side, didn't touch him to the wall at all. That's not something you really fake 30 minutes into a race. You're just strong enough to do that without it really messing with you, or you're not.
Yeah, I got a stopwatch for about a second after he fell off that or left that obstacle. So
it's been 33 seconds since he started it.
Okay, then we'll go by that, because I got 22 seconds since he came off it.
So I bet we see Aaron next. If he's not in second, he's going to be right behind second. But now we're coming up on a 50-second gap, and that's pretty significant this far into the race.
Sounds like they got the first three now.
So Kayla's not in the lead anymore and struggling to catch the top of this wall.
What was the name of the workplace, Bill?
Brizzo Lara. Looking good.
There she goes. But this is one of those spots where it's not really a built-in place to lose time. Rigs, it's almost expected at times. Carries, sure, but on a wall, it's one of those you can't really afford to lose time at a spot that's not designated as a potential time loss.
All right, I got a minute and a half almost.
Yeah, 140.
Who was that in second?
If that was really second place, Aaron's dropped back out of the top three.
Who was that? Do we know who was in second? That just went by you, Lee?
1 sec.
Not this guy. This guy's this is third place. Oh, don't fall off, buddy. You got this.
He won't fall off. He's a noob sanity guy. He'll stay on there all day long.
Nice work. We've identified the guy in second place as Joseph Kodo.
Kodo with a K?
I believe so. Is it with
I don't know anything about Joseph.
No, I got Joseph Kodo with a C here. Also
C-O-D-O.
Noob Sanity. Nope, not Noob Sanity.
Oh.
So
Aaron's dropped back a little bit. Grip still as good as ever.
Does he slow down a little bit, it looks like?
Yeah, but he ran this section in between as fast as any of those guys. I wonder if the technical part got to him. Maybe my prediction of the technicality keeping the race together was exactly wrong, Matt.
Sometimes it is. 3 minutes almost, he's off the lead. That's a big lead.
Yeah. It absolutely is. At this point, he needs a big climb to catch everyone, and I don't think that's coming on this course.
I don't see that coming.
He's running strong, though. They can't be running any faster than him on this section, and most likely slower. So there's got to be that. Maybe he can't trust the technical sections yet, or maybe he just hasn't been able to run any technical running and training.
So Joseph Kodo was third. Do we know?
Oh, that was a big jump.
Or Kodo was second. There's somebody we don't know. We've got Brizolara 1. Kodo was second or third, and then Aaron. Just want to keep everybody up to date here.
Kodo was second, and then the other Noob Sanity, which I assume would be Jarrett Newby. But I haven't caught him on a frame yet where he's not pixelated or skipping ahead.
Right. That looks like an open wave going off there.
So they'll be in the woods for about another 2 minutes or so, and then they're going to come out right onto cargo.
Beautiful. Where's Red Shorts? Great question. I don't know where Jared is. Caleb, looks like you're...
I hope he wasn't running so strong that he like hit a root or something.
Yeah, hopefully not injured and not lost.
Yeah.
Looks like Caleb's trying to come on, but it's not quite working. Man, just keep going. You're good, buddy.
This guy's going out with the ruck pack.
I saw that. Caleb, I can't see or hear you. It looks like you're trying to get on, buddy. All right, stay out of the woods. It gets worse when you move back into there, Lee. Can you stay on the obstacle?
A lot of rocks, roots. Terrain's a lot like this through most of it.
There we go.
That's beautiful terrain to run through, Matt.
It's an obstacle race.
Yeah, I love it. That's
I like
good
obstacle
trail
racing.
right there.
Hey,
There's been a bit of a trend
mail right here.
over the last couple of years towards more runnable terrain. And then as of recently, we've seen people heading back off into this stuff again, and I like that. And I'm talking industry trend, not necessarily Savage. Savage likes to take you through whatever they can find.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all for watching. I'm going through stories here. A lot of you are watching us while you're running or hanging out with your dog.
I appreciate that triple wide cargo nut here, the A-frame. I like that. That really, really is something that the athletes are going to appreciate.
So it's not crowded, you mean?
Yeah, it's not crowded, and it's
worse than having
always...
time to pass somebody on the net.
Yeah, you have room to do it. You have room to flip without getting kicked or kicking people. And the fastest routes are always the ones closest to the truss because the rope is more taut there. And when there's only two, as soon as two people are on it, you're kind of screwed. With more lanes here, you can just pick a good fast route without having to worry about getting caught up behind people.
Looks like Caleb is on a female. Caleb, you got females?
Still no one coming through this cargo. This is very quickly turning into a blowout.
What would you say, Caleb? Do you say you have females or no?
None have come through yet.
There's still going to be a few more minutes there. I wouldn't mind seeing what this gap is on the cargo.
Okay.
Made something.
Oh, we got a crash there. See that? He saved it pretty well. Snagged his feet going over the wall.
Is this for me?
Yeah, he's in the snow. That's his snow hat.
All right, second place approaching.
And then you like it. I'm gonna put it right here.
Yeah. Put it right here next to him. All right, we're going to get a good shot of whoever this is.
It's interesting. He looks very fatigued. He looks like he's laboring on the run, but his gap is opening up more over third place. Unless there was a move made and we missed Jarrett coming through. I'm just going to continue calling Jarrett, assuming that was Jarrett Newby. So either we missed an athlete or a big move's been made in the field.
Oh, that's double flip. Love it.
Yeah.
Go for that.
Yeah.
Go for that second flip.
That's a good fast down. He probably took 3 or 4 seconds away from everyone else just on that on the dismount.
So is he moved into third, or we're unsure?
Unsure.
No, that's correct, Matt. This is he's in third at this point.
What could we have lost the other? I'm just going to call him Jared. Where could we have lost Jared in this previous half mile?
The
Is there any
classic,
obstacle?
the older Kiss My Walls, the one where it slants away from you and has rock grips.
Oh yeah.
So, in this case, what has happened is the paintballers shot it with paint a million times and it was all slimy. So it made it a bit harder.
There's always something, isn't there? That's not one I've heard before.
Right, but hey, whatever it takes.
I'm going to hang with 2 and 3 because number 1 looks like he's already at the finish.
Yep, 850. If you want to go ahead and let him on in. Come on, guys, hang out with me. 850 right here.
Uh-oh. A bit of a hang up.
So
Still seems to be fine, but
Did you
losing
say that
time.
Ryan already finished?
He's coming down Colossus now.
Because it's only been 38 minutes or 48 minutes.
I got a little timer going here, Matt. Aaron has not done this before, but he was able to skip an anchor.
As we would expect him to.
Yeah. Made up a good amount of time on this obstacle.
Pardon me. Excuse me.
30 seconds behind.
Thank you.
All right, let's see that finish.
How can they be done already?
Go on course if you need to. Let's get up to the rig.
I mean, they can't be, right?
No, they can't be finished already, Lee. It's only been 48 minutes.
Oh, no, they could be.
6 miles? They're running 8-minute miles with obstacles?
I mean, they're still a few minutes from the finish.
Okay,
They
well,
haven't
that's a
gotten the
big
obstacles
difference.
yet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Big difference between finished and...
Well, finishing gauntlet.
All right, let's not argue.
I mean, the point is there's not another loop, correct? This is it?
Correct.
Right, but you made it sound like he was finishing. Oh, he's not going to make it. That is not a winning strategy.
Well, if he's a minute and a half behind here, then yeah, I mean...
Oh, he saved it. Oh, here, look at Aaron. Oh!
This is the kind of thing that you have with Aaron. He's willing to take chances. He fell off doing it, but he's willing to take a chance to try to make a pass.
I'm going to predict he passes.
Yeah, I believe so. And that's just what he brings to the table. Even if his running fitness isn't maybe up to his usual standards, he's able to do these kind of things in his sleep.
So this is the difference between second and third.
Correct.
Oh, he's struggling a little bit on this transition to the pole, as they both are.
Well, you could tell that Aaron was looking the whole time to transition as quickly as possible. And so he'd move up another step and then try to transition, and then another step.
Look at this Lachey. Let's watch this Lachey.
Come on. There you go.
Yeah. Whereas this guy's really getting tangled up and blowing out a lot of grip. This is a terrible position to be in because now all you can do is squeeze and your feet are behind you and really no choice but to go down at that point.
That Lachey is massive. I am sorry, but that is a massive Lachey.
Mm-hmm. And the Lachey is one of those things where when you can do it, you make it look smooth and easy and you think, yeah, everyone can do it. But if you're not one of those people, it's nearly impossible. And who knows how dewy these pipes are. Because you need some confidence to be able to really swing hard, and when you release, you have to have had good grip up until that point. And if it's slippery at all, it takes someone who's not a great lasher into a bad lasher.
And that's having something left after this. So, for example, we're looking at third place now, very easily finding himself off the podium.
Yeah.
Who is this, Lee, by the way? Can you please get a name for us? When he's
Hey, guy,
rested?
what's your name? What's your name?
Isn't that
Yo, Koda.
Kodo?
Nice to meet you.
Oh, that's Kodo. Okay.
Well, Joe's at that point where this isn't a race anymore, and yet he's still in race mode, or he's got his arms up on it. He doesn't want to waste any time going. But if you're not going to go, you might as well step off, shake your arms out, and go into, I'm going to salvage third place. There's no need to start a second before you have to. He's not going to catch Aaron, and the only thing he can do from here is lose third. So hopefully he switches out of I'm racing to I'm going to do whatever it takes to hold on to third. And I guess doesn't have much time to make that decision. Jarrett shows up here. If all our blustering about noob sanity being obstacally proficient is true, then he's going to go right through this thing and move into third place.
Is this our first place woman, Caleb?
Yes, sir. Second, not far. Looks like Castle moved into second place.
And who's in first?
Danica, I've no clue. Her bid fell off a while ago.
It's a noob sanity jersey. All right, here we are to the Lachey. And it's a relatively low bar that you're going from. So anyone tall, as you can see, has to keep it. Has to keep his feet up in the air.
All right, if we can get it from the audience, let us know
too.
who's first place female. We'd love to know.
Nice job, man.
It's a good, solid wheel world.
Jareen Ray. Is that first place is in Jareen?
Oh, and Kayla's not far behind. She's managed to stay in contact.
Who is that in second? Did you say?
I believe Castle's last name.
Michelle Castle.
Yes.
I don't believe we've had either of those two females on the podium this year. We have 3 brand new podium winners this day. Just knocked a shoe down, Matt. That's why you don't fidget in the booth.
I hate when that happens.
So here they are now. We're back to this point. Jared looks like he's got a tear going on his hands, a rip.
Yeah, I think so.
That Lachey is the perfect time to rip your hand.
Look at this efficiency, though, on the women's side. Wow.
Yeah, she looks powerful. So Kayla's still holding third position down, still in a podium spot. No eyes on fourth yet. But again, she spent a lot of time at a rig in Maryland at Savage. So she's making it through some of these, but I'm really unsure what we're going to see on this Lachey from the women, Matt.
I am too, considering how much trouble the men are having.
Now, when Jared comes through here, he's got his rip on his hand, is what I'm assuming. He keeps checking it, looking at it. It's really painful to swing on a rip like that. I assume. Oh, can you do that? Can you go up on the bar?
Yeah, anything attached to the cargo net is fair game.
Okay.
So he's doing a little resting.
And when he gets to it, he's going to have to choose if he wants to just swing on his rip or if he wants to go alternating hand grip. That alternating hand grip, he may have to put his palm facing back towards himself so that he can torque on it at a different angle.
All right, here we go. Now or never.
It's going 2 front facing. Oh, that's a heartbreak.
That is a freaking heartbreak.
You know what? These next 2 guys aren't going to be the ones that pass him.
Because they're struggling already?
Yeah, and they haven't been great. I mean, Kodo had one really good attempt, but that new guy who just came through, that wasn't a good attempt. You know, these kind of falls when you're already low at the bottom, it's not a very confident looking try.
So we're gonna see a brand new person, it looks like.
Yeah, one of these guys, the first person to come through who just walks up confidently and attacks is probably the guy who does it. That sounds, really cliche, but someone's going to walk up knowing they have it. Everyone else is here thinking, I wonder if I can do this. They're kind of just throwing attempts at it right now half-heartedly, where someone's going to just charge right through this thing. And maybe it's him. This is a place where if Carl is in the mix, he'll fly right through this one. He'll power his way through at least. Well, this is an interesting technique.
So Ryan, what happened to it? I had my banner ready to go. Ryan,
I kind of feel bad for Ryan.
Ryan and Aaron are in. I had them on my let me fix this.
Is he trying to go over or just untangle?
He's just really tangled.
Yeah.
All right, so Ryan, we got a new Ryan in the power rankings in first. His time was 49:15. Aaron came in at 52:46. So
Ryan?
that's 2.5 minutes.
Brian Brzezlara put on a dominating performance, looked really good the entire way, and didn't get his finish line moment.
Unfortunately.
We'll have to make sure to get some FaceTime with him. Maybe we can get him over here while people are struggling, because I don't see an end to this struggle in sight.
Neither do I.
Wonder if we're going to see Josh Marsh come on through here.
We could see pretty much anybody on the men's or women's podium at this point. The third place man, and we're going to see how Jareen does on this. All right, somebody trying the Lachey. Did he make it? He did. Well, that's
just crushed that.
So we don't know who that is yet, but he'll be coming across shortly. How far away from the finish are we?
We're about 1,500th of a mile.
1,500ths of a mile.
I have no idea what that means. That's never been said in human history.
Half of a quarter mile.
Half of a quarter mile is an eighth of a mile.
A quarter mile is 0.24. 0.25. So 0.25 would be 0.125.
We are deep in math corner
So
here.
we're sitting somewhere at like 240 meters or something like that.
How many of you, raise your hand at home if you're like me, when they show the heights for the pole vault and the high jump, you immediately Google how many feet that is so you can have a clue how high they're actually going.
It's kind of bizarre, Matt, that we're in one of 3 nations to use non-metric system, to use imperial.
Listen, I can't help that we were taught incorrectly, but when they say they're jumping 4.7 meters, I have no idea how high that is. So I have to
I'm not blaming you. It's odd. We might be the only first world country.
So wait, I thought Yank My Chain was supposed to be before this.
That's correct. Yeah, Yang My Chain is right before this, but the males just kind of breeze through it.
All right, love it. Thanks for being with me, peeps. Everybody with me. Thank you. Love it. Love my people. Same people who throw away those instructions when they show up and then wonder why they can't fix something. Got the Incredibles rocking in.
Here's our third place male.
Get his name real quick before he starts.
I mean, the conversion's easy, Matt. It's just 3.28
what's
feet
your
per
name?
meter.
Chad,
I don't know how much more simple we can make it.
Chad Gross? Chad Gross. We'll see it.
No idea what you just said.
Me?
No, him.
Oh, him.
There are
I said
one,
his
two.
his name is Chad Gross, and he's completing Sawtooth.
When he gets done, ask him how many of his brothers are here today. When he gets done,
The whole family's here.
there's a bunch of grosses in my start line list.
It's a very shallow sawtooth. We haven't seen this configuration. And I know it's because of the pit, but
Hang on,
a little different.
hang on. Not so fast, Bracken Crocker. Not so fast. Chrissy's asking
Okay,
where
so-
Jared is. I don't know. We haven't seen him in a while.
Jarrett Newby? He's
Yeah,
still on
no,
the rig.
Jared Flank, red shorts.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't seen him since the start, really.
He might have got hurt. I haven't seen him.
Don't say things like, don't say maybe. You can't say that.
He came out of that heavy carry in second place, and that was the last we saw.
Ask him
Okay,
how many
well,
brothers.
get positive about that.
All right,
Okay.
now ask him how many brothers are here, Lee.
So how many brothers you got here today?
3.
3? Got the whole family, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Love it. Love it.
Well, stuff.
He's got bragging rights. It's like the Gronk household.
What's that? Negative.
There you go. So that's what I do. You go backwards first. Use different muscles, right?
Yeah, typically, back or side would be good, but this is a pretty shallow one. Meaning the pitch isn't very steep.
Jung Young Pak taught me that at Mud Guts and Glory.
Jung Young Pak. History of OCR couldn't be written without that man.
How do you like that for two old references?
I like it a lot. I'm a big Jung Young Pak fan.
He posted he may be returning.
Good. He pops in from time to time. He made a stadium podium a few years back.
Okay, is this the potential next third place man coming in down the what do you call this? Down Colossus.
Yes.
And it still looks strong.
So this is after that cheese board rig?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Keep those feet up. Gross.
He must have just slipped.
Yeah, because look how strong he looks.
Yeah. Especially after making it through the lâché. So that was just a slip.
I say lâché. You want to go with lâché?
Lâché. It's lâché. Look at that. That's the excitement of a man getting a podium.
Love it. Congratulations. All right. Well, good job. Which gross was he? Did we say?
Gross number 1.
We're gonna know in a minute as it hits the board.
You know how the Kempson brothers do Kempson 1 and Kempson 2?
Right.
We got gross 1.
Bracken, do you have a favorite Kempson?
I have 2 favorite Kempsons.
That's cheating.
I like them both for different reasons. Depending on the situation, I would absolutely choose one over the other.
All right, so there's your men's podium.
But no, you're not going to make me pick between Kempsons.
So let's go ahead and talk about this. Can Aaron be disappointed with his first race back?
Oh, I mean, he could be disappointed if he made mistakes. But when you are first coming back from surgery, you can't be disappointed with anything fitness related. I think he's going to have, I would assume, nothing but positive takeaways. As far as we know, his legs held up. He was able to run strong in between obstacles, maybe not the technical portions. And he's going to be thrilled to have even been out here. There's that little worry in the back of your mind that maybe I've run my last race. I may never truly be back.
Well, there's always the Masters Tour, as you know. OCR has an entire Masters Tour, just like tennis and golf. So,
yeah, I'm sure it's coming. Is this Kayla worked all the way back up?
what's that?
Kayla Colby has worked her way all the way back up. I don't know if we had an issue or if she just made up that much time, but now she's only about 5-6 seconds down. Oh, she's got to go back. She lost another 3 or 4 seconds on transitions, but still 10-second gap. That was a 35 second gap before.
So we've got Jareen Klingberg, Jareen Ray from Noob Sanity, Kayla Colby from iCore Fitness. Now, I don't know if you know this, but Kayla is an Aries, and Kayla is a Pisces, and Jareen is an Aries. I don't know how you feel about that, but looking at their birth dates, I don't know if that's important to you.
I suppose it's as important to me as anything else that doesn't matter to me. How's that for a PC?
I don't think the women are going to struggle with this if they haven't had to do whatchamacallit first. If they haven't had to do the rig first, I think this is going to be a lot less troublesome for them, correct?
True, but it's the first stack against them in their pile of fatigue heading towards that lâcher. It's not necessarily what it does to them right now, but what it does to them about 100 meters from now.
Hey guys, I've got coverage here on mine. Matt, can you hear me?
Here we are. Race comes down to this.
Let's clear that lane for the middle lane, which I'd say go in the left or the right, but whatever you guys want to do, Savage. Right, that was a quick fail. You think that was just sort of a false start?
I don't know. They both look a little bit tired, and they're at a disadvantage here in that all the men have come through and mucked it up, for lack of better terms, even if it's just sweat. They're coming through and they're on there and they're getting it in a different condition than the first couple people got. And you can see them looking at their hands, wiping their hands off the best they can. Everyone seems to be dealing with it. Now, Kayla's been here before for sure. No, Marilyn never made it past this stage. Made it past eventually, but didn't make it past in a time that kept her in the race. So she needs to come exercise some demons here.
Well, and this could be another situation where women we didn't see all day.
Absolutely.
Chance for, say, a Meg Julian, who's usually a few minutes behind on the run, to come in and steal a podium.
Mm-hmm.
Steal a victory even.
And they're both doing the right thing for their performance, which is not rush this. All right, we have our third woman here. That lead pack of three that we've seen all day are all present.
So who's the third woman at the rig?
The blue tank top over there. And this is a situation where it favors the people coming up to the rig who are not leading.
Because the confidence gets a boost.
Absolutely. It's just a momentum thing. You come and you think, oh, I've got a second lease on life. I'm back. Whereas the people in front, all they can think are negative thoughts of, after all that work, here they are back. I just lost all that lead. It's a definite shift of energy and momentum.
So that's Michelle in the blue tank top. And if Michelle can make this lâcher,
Kayla's on and moving. She's keeping her hands on either side. Even that reach is big on the cheese board. Kayla's not a tall woman. She's obviously strong. She's powerful, but these reaches, these gaps are proving to be too much right now. All right, Matt. First female lâcher.
oh, Bracken.
So close.
Based on those first two swings, I almost said, looks like we've got our winner. Didn't those swings look good? Confident, strong?
I did.
I made it way too hard.
It's just a big gap. Stop me if we've been here before, Matt.
We have.
So who's the tallest woman?
That's
in the
what I was
field?
about to say. Do we have a 5'10" woman out there? A 5'9" woman out there?
Or name one with gymnastics or ninja warrior background. Because
Michelle
it comes
Warnicki?
down,
Is Michelle Warnicki here today?
I don't think so.
I was joking. She's definitely not. But that's
Okay.
that's who's got that ninja background.
It's that lâcher is tricky because you have to be able to swing hard if you are not long. In like a real true swing. And the only way to do that is to A, have your grip still intact, but by the time you get to that point, most people will not. And B, you have to trust your hands in the bar. And with it dewy and sweaty, it's just not a easy way to go about this.
I was seeing if Caleb's camera was slightly less pixelated, but it looks about the same.
And getting long on the swing is the only way to really generate a lot of force. And if you're short, there's only so long you can get. And if you're tall, you can't extend your legs. So there's a lot of things working against these athletes right now. But this is the biggest one, I think. You focus all the way through the cheese, and suddenly you're stuck on this net to this pipe, and you're using so much of your crush and pull strength to stay up there that now you get over here, and it's tough to even do this. Like, that's a big, powerful man right there, and he barely cleared the halfway mark.
Big, powerful man. Ooh.
Yeah. He can put that on his LinkedIn profile.
I want to show you something really quickly here. While
this could go anywhere.
I just want to quickly show you this. There's not one name anyone recognizes if you're not friends with these people. This is the top 8 men other than Aaron Newell.
Look at Josh March. I'm proud. 7th place here. Josh March is a guy that I work with, and he has Raynaud's. And are you familiar with that?
Say that one more time.
Raynaud's, where you lack of circulation and blood flow to the hands. Your hands kind of just shut down when they get cold or wet. And so he has very good grip strength. He's a pretty solid runner. He's good at OCR, but when his hands get wet or cold, they just turn white. He looks like a zombie, and they just shut down. And he got through to this and flew his way through. So it's always a I don't know. I as good as he is and as good a shape as he's in, I always have to worry for him because I never know if his hands are going to betray him. And it's just a condition that there's really no hope for. Here we are. First female through.
She got it?
Yeah.
I was looking up something else online. Congratulations. Nice job.
That is well earned. So anyways, Josh Marsh, congrats.
Where's Carl Fallish?
I'm assuming that he has an ankle thing going, unfortunately. Either couldn't run hard with it or actually rolled it and had to stop because he would have been here by now.
So no Carl, no Jared. We hope they're okay.
That second cam, do you think we can get it to the finish and catch that finishing moment?
That would be Caleb. Run over to the finish line, Caleb.
These are well-earned finishes. They deserve their camera time.
Yeah, we just sent Caleb over now.
Kayla Colby's in a tough spot. She got dropped, worked her way hard all the way back up, tied for the lead, and then had to wait here. She earned it so painfully, and then right back to a standstill.
Caleb, it looks like you're at Colossus, not the finish.
I think she's coming down right now.
Oh, okay.
Assume he'll follow her to the finish. Well, his camera's struggling in those PA woods. This is the most exhausting part of the entire race.
It is deceptively tricky to get out of this thing.
And you hold your breath going down into it, and then when you submerge. And at this point, when you're so oxygen depleted to begin with, having to hold your breath even for 5 seconds is just a massive dagger. It hurts so bad. And you come out and it just kind of trashes your system. Luckily, she's at the end here. But now she's soaked. She's tired. She's redlined, and she still has to make it past the sawtooth. Win, lose, or draw here. Noob Sanity's getting a lot of free advertising for their for their gym.
So, according to Athlinks, Jareen won a blitz in 2019, Maryland Fall. Who we're looking at here, Jareen.
Mm-hmm. This would be her first podium of the standard distance.
If Athlinks is correct, which it may or may not work.
First podium and first win at the same time.
Yeah, maybe we can get a word after she finishes. Somebody can stay on the... Did she make that obstacle?
Yeah, I believe so.
Somebody can stay... Lee can stay on... Caleb, why don't you go ahead and head to the finish? We'll watch her come in, and then we'll talk to maybe Aaron or anybody, Ryan, if he's there, and then get a word with her when she's catching her breath.
I don't know if we're going to get anything out of this feed.
Well, we got that guy.
Yeah, that was an interesting stop frame there.
Is there any dudes around? The top 3 dudes, Ryan or Aaron? They probably left. It's been a few minutes. Let's let her rest. We'll go over back to the...
So Jareen Klinberg.
Yes, that's her. So let's go back to the rig here.
She's gone.
And she's gone. And it finally...
That means friends or teammates she's getting back to cheer on.
Right.
I love seeing that. You cross the line, you're trashed, and suddenly you're running even faster than you finish back to find your friends on course.
So that's Meg. We recognize her mohawk there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Kevin LaPlatney plants it down on the ground.
Well, the good news is that the AG podiums are still wide open.
Oh, yeah.
You got 3 men, 35 to 39. That one's gone. You got third place, 30 to 34 male. You got 2 places for 18 to 24 and 25 to 29. That's them on the men's side.
Meg doing a smart thing here. That's not comfortable having that strap in your armpit, but you can hang out there for a long time.
Okay.
All right. Moment of truth. We need a bigger swing than that.
No, looks like head down. She didn't get it.
That's one of those that she released. It's hard for me to say entirely because I'm not there and it's a choppy feed, but that looked like she let go because she was going to fall off the bar anyways. She was slipping, her swing got a little less, and she realized, well, it's now or never because this bar is too slippery and my grip's not there. And there's always something, Matt.
Whoa, hang on.
You watch the first few races of the year and you realize I really need my pinch and my squeeze grip for the cheese board. I really need to be able to do that. And then you get to this, the first time they had the low cargo net, and you realize I need my core and I've got to work on low rig type work. And people work on it. We get to here almost to the, 2/3 point in the year of racing. And, oh, great. Now, Lachey, we need to figure out how to do that. There's always something that you can work on in the sport. Because unless you go to an obstacle gym or a Ninja Warrior gym, chances are you don't work on swinging on bars and jumping from one to the other. That's just not a. That's not
well,
a thing
you better if you're coming to Vermont for OCR World Champions.
Yeah,
chips.
And this is a good wake up call that there are pieces to prepare for that you don't necessarily see on a day-to-day basis, but will be present at World Championships. And you can do everything right. You can be in great running fitness, great up and downhill fitness, great grip strength, really good at carries, all of that. And then you're missing one single skill like this, and it ruins your entire race. Could you make this, Matt?
Could I?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm known for my obstacle proficiency, Bracken.
There was no judgment in my voice. I'm just curious. Is this a lache? Is that something that's in your arsenal?
I would say that I could make the lache if I didn't have to do all those other things first.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't make it that far. I wouldn't make it past the cheese. I'm not really. My obstacles proficiency is not my strong suit.
Yeah, you're leaning into the ultra world these days.
Yeah, man. I like running a long time. That's fun for me.
Would you have ever thought you'd say that 10, 20 years ago?
Definitely not. My wife reminded me how I didn't understand why anybody worked out or ran. That I used to say, like, why do people do that all the time? Mm-hmm. But I think I'm like a lot of the community. I found something at age, 40. Like, oh, this is great.
It's one of those things you just can't understand it until you experience it. And sometimes it takes a while to take. What do we got going on here? We got a strap that got strung up there, or someone's foot stuck. Foot stuck.
He put it in the net and then spun around the net.
Is he injured?
No.
Good.
All right. Who is this? Meg? Who is? No, this is Kayla finally coming around, right?
Oh yeah.
All right, Kayla.
Look at that technique.
That's a wild one. I like it.
All right. This is her best and only chance right here.
Yep. She let go too soon.
Yeah.
She should have swung more. Is she giving up? Is she giving up her band?
And that might be one of those where, again, she let go because she wasn't going to have a better swing than that one. Matt, I've done some races where you have to make a little leap like that, and the feeling of if the pipe is or the bar is at all wet, you get 2 or 3 swings while your grip's good, and then it starts to slide and slip worse, and you realize I might have already had my best swing. Each one after this is going to get a little less stable. It's a bad feeling. Look at this technique.
So now people are just hanging. Whoa, what is going on here? If she makes this, she will be my MVP of the day.
It's not a terrible idea, but getting up out of this is going to be costly. Unless she detangles well, she might just have this really. Oh boy! Now we're in it. All that energy she saved hanging there is now right back out the window. Probably made for a great picture, though. Great thought, but the execution was a little lacking on the back end. Oh, we're back. She's not panicking. Just going back to that strategy. I like it. You ever see that before, Matt? In a race?
I have definitely not.
That's a Cirque du Soleil type move there. I hope she makes this.
I really do too. I'm looking for her bib. She's bib number 102. It looks like that's Taylor. Oh, that's Taylor Cedeno.
Taylor Cedeno. Teaching us new tricks.
Taylor has done well at Savage earlier this year.
Yeah. She's got a lot of hair.
Come on, Taylor.
There it is. Yikes. You just slip right backwards off that.
What just happened? What just happened, Bracken?
It was too slippery. She went backwards.
So Taylor made a podium earlier this year at Savage.
Mm-hmm.
For once, I could see a bib number and I could then call it out. Well, we have the question we had at a previous Savage race, which is the time limit.
Yeah. Is 2 hour time limit? Is that correct, or is it 140?
So we have adjusted this after last time, and we just said it's 10:30 regardless of anything.
Okay. So they've got an hour, which we should not wait here that long for. We should definitely not wait here for an hour.
You don't have 63 minutes of material, Matt?
I probably do.
You take us back to your stand-up days.
Oh boy.
Does any of it still play?
Well, what was funny in the late 90s?
A lot of things that are socially unacceptable now.
That's number one. Okay, what else?
Did you have a lot of Bill Clinton material?
We were in Bush territory.
Oh, were we?
By 2005 was when I stepped away from the scene. It's been a long time.
What was your shtick?
I mean, you can't really ask that question. It kind of doesn't really work that way.
Well, I mean, yeah, it does. Everyone's got a thing. Were you self-deprecating? Were you vulgar? Were you a shock artist? Were you current events, or were you highly politicized? What was it?
I think everybody's got a shtick. I feel like every professional stand-up comedian would be insulted by that unless they were a ventriloquist or a magic act. Those people have a shtick.
Okay, maybe the word shtick is where we're getting hung up here. What was your routine like? What was your presence?
These are the worst questions.
These are not. Describe yourself. We're in an elevator.
What do
together.
you think? What do you think
You're
Jerry
a comedian.
Seinfeld would say? What do you think Jerry Seinfeld would say if you asked him those questions?
Well, we wouldn't have to ask because we all know it.
But
You're in an elevator with me. I'm an exec, and I'm like, all right, what? We've got a couple acts here. What role do you fill?
Yeah, it doesn't really work that way.
It absolutely does.
It absolutely does not.
You can't have three people in a row that are all about
It would be like me
humor.
saying. It would be like me saying things like, "I don't get why the 10K guy can't run the marathon. Like, I don't understand. They're both fast." And you would say that's not
the opposite.
And you would say that's not true at all. And I would say, why is it different? And you would say, because it doesn't work that way. I know about that world. You don't. That's what we're getting. That's what I'm getting at.
Matt, you made my point for me. If I was a meet director and I had a couple runners come up to me, I'd say, what event do you run?
Right. But you not knowing why you shouldn't say to a comic, hey, what's your shtick? What did you talk about? Is just as bad as saying, why doesn't the 10K guy run the marathon?
The fact that you can't tell me what type of comic you were is worrisome.
Well, again, but you think you're right, and that's the problem.
No, I don't think I'm right. I'm thinking I'm asking a question that someone who maybe isn't in the industry would need answered for them.
Ask any stand-up comic that question, and they would tell you to go F yourself. They'd say, come watch the show sometime.
They also could answer it if they wanted to. You don't have a show. I can't find your material online.
Right. Unless they're a ventriloquist or a magic act, then they would say, well, I talk with dummies or I use magic.
So you don't have a description of what you brought to the table as
I say
comedian.
it doesn't work that way. Come to a show sometime. And then we would move on, whoever this person that was asking me, but you're not moving on.
Well, you don't have a show. How do I find this out? Do you have archives I can find online?
I've got some in my attic.
So are you inviting me to your attic? Is that how we
Who's in second place for the women? Do we have any idea?
Currently, we have all of our second place competitors at this obstacle.
All right. So why don't we give them, what do we think? Another 10 minutes bracket, and then we're going to have to, or should we stay on until we have a second? What do you think?
It looks like we got another attempt there in the back.
Yeah, let's see a few more minutes of attempt.
Take us back to your Office Max days.
Okay, so educate me, Matt. What is the question to ask a comedian? What type of material?
Why don't we just move on?
Is this an offline conversation I need to have for you? I want to know the Matt Davis, the stand-up.
I guess it would be equal as annoying as sitting next to somebody on a plane and going, tell me about yourself. And I'd be like you would never say that to a person because it's a dumb thing to say to a person.
You wouldn't ask someone about themselves?
Okay, I'm going to say it again. If you sat next to someone on a plane and you said, "Tell me about yourself," okay, that was 5 words, right? If you'd be like, "What do you mean?" It's equally as annoying.
Well, there's a difference between annoying and unanswerable.
Here's Taylor back on the pipe.
All right, this is it, Matt. All our hopes and dreams ride right here.
She once again let go really soon, which I'm going to take to mean, as you said, she doesn't have anything in her.
That's it. I would be interested to see if there was a time cutoff where you have to give honest attempts and they didn't know about this, but then we said, all right, at 90 minutes into the race, you get to skip straight to the Lachey. If we would see anyone be able to make it through.
Oh, there's my buddy. There's my buddy far right in the tiger print. Well, is that a future possibility, Lee? Maybe not today, but in a future race? You get to skip?
I mean, that would require some discussion, but we're open to just about anything as long as it, is functional. It makes sense.
And the problem with that would be that they couldn't know about it. Because if they knew about it, then they would just wait, and some people would be fresh and others wouldn't be.
Yeah.
I was more of a curiosity. I wondered if they all got to switch to it right now, could they make the Lachey, or is it simply a product of it's not doable? Which obviously it's doable. Someone made it, but is it they're just too blown out from the rig, or do some of them just not know how to Lachey? Is this Sarah Paladin here? We haven't seen her come through, or at least not on camera. An attempt.
I think that said Paladin on the shirt.
Yep.
How do we know her, Bracken?
Oh, she's a OCR stalwart. She's all over the place. She does a lot of different. She does a little bit of everything. I saw her at High Rocks in Orlando. She's just I would say jack of all trades here.
So I was kind of half kidding, Bracken. Oh, hang on, we got somebody on Lachey.
Here we are.
Is that Kayla?
No, that swing never even got started. These people are blown out at this point. Feel bad for them.
There you go. One good Lachey. One good one.
It's about. You can tell what they're going to do because of their backswing. Lifting the legs high up in front feels like we're swinging hard, but then all the energy dies as they plop down into the back.
So you've got to go equally as high in the back.
Yeah, the back is where the power drives from.
You know who'd be good at this? Logan Broadbent. Logan, where are you, buddy?
Yeah, Logan would have been through real quick. Yeah, the front swing really only serves to set up the momentum for the backswing. If you ever watch a gymnast when they do their first kip cast start, they flip their feet up high and then they slam themselves way up in the back, and from that one swing they can come through and do whatever they want to do. So the front swing sets up the back swing, whereas people who haven't spent time on a bar like this, all their energy goes towards kicking forwards and then it dies on the way back.
I would like to have a conversation with you, Bracken, about this idea of competition and about the things you said about seeing your opponents, because I did have this recent experience with it that has awakened an entirely new competitor in me.
Okay.
That I'd love to speak with you about. Maybe on camera. Maybe I'll have you back on the show.
Are we starting now, or is this just a...
Hang on. Sarah Paladin for the gold, for the silver.
Oh.
So close.
We haven't even talked launch angle yet, Matt. The shorter you are, the more you got to get that launch angle right. Because a tall person can just get up in the air and their length carries them through. But when you're short, you want to get as far out as you can, but you still have to get some height, and that requires letting go at the exact right time, which is something that's a skill that's learned to do. But when the bar is wet, it kind of changes your ability to decide exactly when I let go of the bar.
We've got a second finisher across the finish line. Did she lose her band? Can we get a clarity, Lee?
Yeah, she did not complete with the band.
Malaya Oxner. Okay, so she just decided to go for it anyway.
They're just hanging out, having a conversation here. Why not?
So this is Taylor, far left of your screen, going upside down. We're seeing things we've never seen before.
If you showed up to an event like this, say you're a passerby, just walked by and had no context for what was happening here, you'd think they were having a competition to who could stay on this the longest. And they'd be tied.
Sean, Brian. Go ahead.
Thank you.
As people fatigue here, it's going to make for awkward landings, unfortunately. It's a very compromised position to hit the ground in. Oh, that was as close as it's going to get there at the end.
Yeah, I'm not sure who has to come through now on the women's side to make this. I mean, they've got literally an hour, so I guess they could just hang out for 30 minutes. Get a
At
snack.
that point, it's the only way it's going to happen, right?
Can you get a snack? Is that legal to get a snack?
Yeah, the only way through here, barring someone just figuring it out, is say I'm going to take 10, 15, 20 minutes and just hang out. I mean, there's carnage on the men here as well.
Good job, Jamie. Oh, that's smart. That's smart.
You can see there, Matt, you see his big front kick, not much of a back end action.
Right.
He was almost long enough to make it anyways.
Are you 6 even, Bracken? How tall are you?
If we go by tail of the tape, I'm 6 foot 1.5 inch.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm 6 foot even. It was. I know the 1/2 inch because in college, in rec basketball and intramurals, there were 2 leagues or 3 leagues. You had co-ed, you had the regular men's division, and then we had a 6 foot and under league. And first week I showed up and I couldn't play, and the second week I showed up in baggy sweatpants and just kind of slouched a little bit, and I got in.
Nice.
It was a weigh-in each week, except with height. There's a line of people hoping they made it in under the line. And that shows you my emphasis in college, my focus. Instead of studying, I was trying to finagle my way into an extra intramural league.
Weren't you already married by then?
No. No, I was not. I've heard a few funny perceptions about me this last year, Matt. 2 have come from you.
What was the other one?
Well, you thought I was 43 when I had you guess my age.
Wait a minute. Did she just make it?
With ease, too.
Who was that?
Caught us by surprise.
Holy moly. Get to the finish line. We got to find out who this is. Get her name when she comes out of the water. Unbelievable. We
Wow.
finally have a second place female. Start talking about your college life, Bracken, and look what happens.
So we've established I'm not 43. I was not married in college, and I've had a few people think that I have like 7 or 8 kids. Which the answer is 3. I have 3 children.
Right, which is why you and I can relate on many levels.
And I'm 34, not 43. And I was very much not married in college.
Got your whole life ahead of you. 34.
My whole life. Still 5 more kids to have.
I'm a decade and a half older than you, my friend.
A decade and a half. Wow.
49 years old. Big 50 coming up in April, buddy.
What are you going to do for it? 50 miler?
I should do something, right? Like
1 mile for every year.
Surviving half a century. I should probably do something.
I think you find a 50 and you jump in it.
Maybe.
Or get 50 friends, each one to join you on a 1 mile of a through Atlanta 50-mile run.
Some say slides are silly. I say hell no. You can end a race with a slide. I'm there.
I think they're both correct. It's silly and it's a pretty cool part of a race.
All right. Let's unmute yourself, Lee, and get her name. He's done the first part. He's unmuted himself.
Our viewers want to know your name.
Liz Armstrong.
Liz Armstrong.
Liz Armstrong, look at that.
From the Philly Spartans from Phoenixville, PA.
Look at that. She doesn't come on screen the entire race, and she's going to get more finish time than anyone else. That's how you close out a race. This is it, right? She's got about 10 hand placements till victory. Nothing else failable after this. Oh, no.
Bracken.
There's no such thing as that. Don't even put that evil on me.
That you're the jinx?
Don't put that evil on me. That's not real.
It's 100% real. I mean, why don't you say she's pitching a no-hitter next? God. No, she's got it. Listen, she's going to get it.
She's got all day.
Yeah, she didn't get through that horrible Lachey just to...
She can sit down there and wait until she sees a girl start the slide. A girl, a female, a woman
Right.
start the
But
slide.
even then, we won't know because now at this point, we have people giving up.
That's true. She's going to have a buddy of hers or family member get some eyes on the course. Let her know when a band comes through.
Green just did that.
Yep, here we are.
What just happened?
There's some camaraderie.
So these women aren't doing the fist skip the obstacle, right? On the left
Correct.
here.
I got the salty.
Can you put a red S on them or something? Or a big red letter A?
I don't
We're
think
not
A is the way we want to go. There's some precedent for that in our history. I assume you had to read the Scarlet Letter in high school, man.
Yes, Bracken. Thank you for getting my reference.
I was just hoping you were getting your reference.
It's
we're on the same
classic.
page.
That's what you get on this show. You get arguments about stand-up. You get classic literature references. I mean, this is what you get.
This is a variety hour, which is not a shtick.
Definitely not my shtick. Bracken, I was observational. I was more like Jerry Seinfeld than like Carrot Top. How about that? It's the best way I can explain
No,
it.
I like that. And that puts it in perspective. You weren't doing gross out humor. You were observational. I like it. I apologize for my crass phrasing.
It's totally okay. And I apologize for digging my heels in for kind of no reason.
Look at that. That only took us like 17 minutes to come full circle. Our process is cleaning up.
Oh boy. Believe it or not, this is the stuff people tune in for. Well, some people absolutely tune out for it. But some
Listen, if
people
they're still tuned in watching people stand at a rig, this is the stuff they're here for. they were here for Fast and Furious race action. They left when that ended. This is the nuances of the sport here.
My son was watching Fast 9 on his laptop, and I was like,
Yeah.
where did you get that? He's like, an illegal stream. And I was like, oh, okay. As you were. I was like,
Make sure you VPN'd.
are you a fan of the F series?
You know, I am. Even if I don't, you always have to treat them as not cinema, right? But
Yeah.
I'm a fan of entertainment for entertainment's sake. And I went through and we went back to with my son, who is 8 now, and my daughter's 6. And with F9 coming out, I decided, let's go back through and watch them all
Right.
so to catch them up. Because we had at one point at a race in Breckenridge, everyone got sick. And they watched 3 or 4 of them back to back on like TNT or USA or something. And they loved them. So we went back through, and I haven't watched them in years. And the first one was a disaster. I forgot that network television changed it. There was a lot that my 6-year-old should not have been seeing and hearing.
Well, if they changed it, shouldn't they change it for the better? What do you mean they changed it?
Well, network television edits it all out. So when we had watched it as a family, everything was a very lighthearted, fun film. And
got it.
I think we made it, like 12 minutes in, and there was the F word, the N word, some real sexual stuff. And my 6-year-old daughter is looking at me and asking questions. It was, we're not ready for that. So we have not finished the series.
Yeah, we skipped some stuff in this house, but then like I see them watching like Deadpool and like what I'm like, you know.
What do you mean you see?
like they're watching. I walk in, I'm like, what are you guys watching? Deadpool 2? I'm like,
They just run the house.
They kind of watch what they want. Yeah.
Yeah. How old are they though?
Jackson's 12, Rivers 8.
Okay, so you're a stage ahead of me. And you're more free with your language around your kids than I am.
Yeah, but it is coming back to bite us somewhat. My wife blames me for that, even though she curses as much as I do.
That was one thing I noticed at the dinner table was, whoa, they let loose in front of their kids.
The dinner table? Did we eat together?
Matt.
Like 10 years ago, you mean, when you were here for Savage?
Yeah, that's the only time I've stayed over at your house.
Okay, for a second I was like, oh, did Liz make it across Sawtooth? Great question. We got lost in Fast and Furious.
We've got her at the finish line, and we're doing a verification now.
Verification. Get the tape.
This is like the Olympics. We cut away to the field event right before the finish of the 3K steeple.
Right. I'm sure we've got cameras on that. Well, we started the show talking about how much the OCR world you follow. I think you should listen to the Sean Roberts interview. I think he's a new face, and we learn a little bit about him, and I think you should go check it out.
I will. Because I'm intrigued by him. My initial gut reaction was he was a pricklier Yatsko.
Correct.
And so that right there has me intrigued and sold.
Right. Well,
Matt, is this it?
Well, I want to get confirmation on Elizabeth, and then I think we're going to cut it. We're going to call it a day, ladies and gentlemen. We'd love to sit here and watch fuzzy rig video all day, but I have a birthday party to get to. My kids have a birthday party to get to.
Matt,
that's not why I'm going. We're going because we want to give you guys only the best stuff.
Hey, Mr. Matt.
Yo.
I have confirmation that Elizabeth kept her band.
Congratulations. So we have Elizabeth Armstrong in second. Let me update the board here. So Liz with her first Savage podium. We got to make sure you get good podium picks today.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you, Matt and Brecken.
Well, we appreciate you, and we'll talk soon.
All right.
Well, there we have it. Every race, we have a new takeaway. And this one is learn to lâcher before OCR World Championships or before your next Savage. Got to have that skill in the quiver or in the toolbox or whatever piece of equipment we store skills in.
Well, do we think that was the hardest one? Because I feel like it wasn't the trickiest.
Yes. Yeah, there've been rigs that required more physicality in terms of strength, just pure difficulty, but that was the trickiest. That was one skill that you had to know already, because by the time you learned it, your grip was gone.
Yeah, I think the debate will continue on Savage obstacles. I do think maybe repeat some of the ones you've done before, because then you can improve instead of this totally new rig every single time.
I'm going to go against character here. I am the proponent of let the racers race.
Okay, which means what?
Which means keep the race flowing. Keep it. I want sprint finishes. I want a race till the finish. I don't want disjointed racing. I don't want stops and failures. I want things to go. I don't mind if people fail. I don't want the masses, like the mass majority of the top of the race, fail. However, I'm going to go against. I'm going to break my typecast here and say there is already a race series that you know every obstacle and you can practice it 100%. I do like that Savage is sticking to their guns and saying, we're going to keep a lot of ours, but we're going to keep you guessing on at least one or two every single time, and you're not going to be totally prepared for it, because there is some unquantifiable skill of being able to adapt on the fly that other race series will not present you with. So I'm going to say keep going, Savage.
Well, all righty. Bracken, where can people listen to your amazing podcast?
The Running Public. Find us on all platforms, or just go to our fancy website that was so unprofessionally built by us, therunningpublic.com.
How many days a week do you come out?
2. Every Tuesday, we have our Training Tuesday, where we focus on a training topic, running based, and we explore it. And then every Friday, we do the weekend long run. We sit down with some sort of industry expert, athlete, coach, medical professional, and do a deep dive into them and their role in the industry. Except for this week, our Friday episode did not make it out yet. It's coming out today.
Fantastic. Well, I will remind everybody that the next 2 Savage races are September 11th, Maryland, September 25th here in Georgia, and October 9th in Dallas. You can catch Obstacle Racing Media anywhere, all over the internet. Just type in the phrase Obstacle Racing Media. We have a couple of podcasts a week. We have several videos. It really just depends on what's happening. So you can check us out there. But for all the good folks here at Savage Race, Lee and Bo and Caleb, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Go work on some laches.